would you do the honor of joining me at the first meeting of the Brilliance? I eagerly await your reply.
Yes!
Hello, friends. Welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies. It's just a fact. It's totally science. Go ahead, look it up. Thanks so much. some classic ReddX vibes in here today, and I'm liking it. We'll get into some Neckbeard stories, see what we can find. No fuss, no muss. We're gonna get right into it, and hey, thanks so much for being here today. Big Neckbeard dong energy. Or how my depression led me to date the worst person ever. I mean, in hindsight, most things in hindsight. I met Greg through OkCupid. I messaged him first. I hadn't had much luck with the service, as I was nerdy, fat, and a woman of color in a city that was mostly white. The few dates I went on ranged from extremely bad to disappointing. There's a stereotype that fat chicks are easy because they're desperate, because no one will date them, and yeah, the dates that I had truly believe that. Unfortunately for them, I wasn't just fat, I was also socially awkward in the middle of an episode of depression, so doing it wasn't something that I did easily. I shouldn't have been dating at all, but my mental health was horrible, so bad decisions were constantly made. I mean, we see it all the time. You think the other person's gonna fix you. They're not. When I messaged Greg, part of me was hopeful that this time would be different as I was being proactive. Yeah, that's what'll make the difference. But after a few phone calls at our first date, it was clear that Greg checked off the same boxes as the previous guy and also even exceeded them. I can confidently say he was the worst person that I have ever dated. We've all got that story. I'd love to hear that story from you in my personal subreddit r/ReddX reads. I'm so hungry for terrible dates recently. OP says I should have ended things after the first date, but I truly thought that I didn't deserve better. Depression is a mother. Yeah, that's the real, like, you got me sort of deep with that one. So I dated Greg for about 2 months. Since this was a few years ago, so some things are fuzzy, here are some of the biggest standouts from my time with him. Was it gay old time? Like the Flintstones? He was a big gatekeeper for his interests. All television shows and movies that had any sort of romance, no matter how small, was garbage. This is why he only watched Top Gear and QI. Those two shows were the height of intelligent entertainment, according to him. I'm sorry to inform you, but there's no such thing as intelligent entertainment. You gotta dumb it down. One of his hobbies was fixing old watches. Mechanically inclined fella. The first time I visited his house, he wanted me to watch him do this. It's a good pun. I was fine for the first half hour. One of my favorite shows is How Do They Do It? And this was like a real-life version. After the third hour had passed, I hinted that, we should do something else. He had a meltdown because I wasn't being supportive. Holy shit, bro. Do you need support for this? Somebody to clap for you? He was the classic definition of someone who is, I am very smart. He was the smartest man on the planet, but no one recognized it. Yeah, because you haven't proven shit.
I am the smartest man alive!
He once told me his plans for building a mechanical muscle, and the reason why he hadn't built it was because it would have to be as big as a room to work. Yeah, where are you going to find a room? No one else will be able to build it correctly. Yeah, that's how I know Boston Dynamics is using magic for their robots. Yes, look at the cute little doggy, and now he's a weapons platform. He was also big about debating with, quote, logic without emotion. Yeah, like Spock. Which meant him getting angry about me having any opinion or stating a fact that he didn't agree with, saying that I brought emotion into it. He would hang up on me and then call back asking if I could now discuss things in a logical manner. One of the times he did this is when I said him saying homosexuality is gross is an opinion and not a fact. Yeah, the Greeks didn't think it was gross.
Oh man, you dirty dog.
Oh, you're gonna bust my balls, Zeus?
You got me now, man.
And he referred to kissing as smooching and women as gals. Oh yeah, take it out of the malt shop for a fast first. We know this one already. And I don't remember the rest, but there were some other words he would use that struck me in a very weird way to hear a man almost 30 using. I mean, he's the kind of guy who'll fix a watch, make you watch him fix a watch for 3 hours. He's not normal. At least he wasn't calling anybody hep cool cats. I tried that way. It doesn't work too good. He did have decent hygiene, though, even in spite of the fact that he lived like he was on an episode of Hoarders. Absolutely fucking disgusting house with a bird that crapped everywhere. No sign of cleaning supplies to be found. Huge holes in the walls. Old fast food wrappers and just full of grimy junk that he found. I only visited his place twice. First visit I spent the night and didn't sleep because I was stressed out by how dirty it was. After I left, I made up excuses to keep from going back. After he gave me a huge guilt trip, I made my last visit. Seeing the same food containers we ate from a month earlier sitting right where he had left them.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the f***?
An epic panic attack led to us breaking up. I mean, honestly, panic attack saved you right there. This was never going to go a good way. He had several external terabyte hard drives of nothing but adult videos, and I questioned why he needed to store so much of that stuff. I mean, I'm not against it, I just don't understand why he needed so much of it. He said, it was easy to access his favorite scenes. Oh boy.
I want to watch all of these movies non-stop.
Yeah, this isn't normal. How many terabytes of your brain is filled up with this shit? Recently, it hit me that the real answer was more likely that it wasn't quite legal stuff because he was super weird about doing it. He told me that he did it in the pooper with an ex by pouring cooking oil over her head while she was cooking on the stove and, quote-unquote, putting it in the back. I don't know how that worked, but I guess points for trying to lube her up. Yeah, like a gentleman, cooking oil on top of the head.
I'll get the lubricant.
There's no time for lubricant.
There's always time for lubricant.
Make sure you get the whole body. It's an expensive way to do it, if I'm honest. Whatever happened to good old Crisco, you know? While we're on the topic, I did sleep with Greg 3 times. He bragged about having a biggin', but surprisingly, he was truthful. But truthfully, having a biggin' means nothing if you got no clue what to do with it. I should have known, after the butt stuff discussion, what I was in for. Greg only knew how to do 2 things. Jackhammer or spread starfish while I did all the work on top. He did attempt to do foreplay by doing helicopter dick before getting into bed. That's normal for you. Okay, sure. Did he helicopter fast enough to lift himself off the ground? Because then I might be mildly impressed. And a grown man wearing nothing but an oversized t-shirt, shaking his wiener around to turn on a gal. I am not making this up because I am not that creative. No. It's one of those horrors that you have to experience in real life. What was on the oversized t-shirt? It's probably a plain white one, but I like to imagine it had Fraggle Rock on it. You guys like Fraggle Rock? The relationship ended after I relented to his guilt trip and agreed to visit his trash house again. This was after I had worked a few 80-plus hour weeks and was completely exhausted. He didn't want to come pick me up, knowing I didn't have a car at the time, because he hated driving in the city I lived in. I spent 45 minutes on the bus, only to be greeted with him sulking about the bus being late. We get back to his house, and though in the car he said he had straightened up, The trash house was as fucking filthy as ever, and I lost it. I had the most meltiest of meltdowns. I told him how disgusting his house was and how he should be ashamed of himself. He broke up with me for being too emotional and drove me home. Honestly, thank God for that. OP wasn't even awarded the dignity of breaking up with him, which I think is tragic. But she found herself eventually, didn't she? She's probably doing fine now. But wait, there's more! Oh, snap. Still having the self-esteem of his house if it was a person. Damn. I kept talking to him over the phone as we agreed to just be friends. He also brought up that he would be willing to see if we could date again if I could get a handle on my emotions. Yeah, be still, my heart. After 2 weeks of the same old shit, I was done. The last time I talked to him, he called at 11 p.m. This is after I had texted him that I was too tired to talk and had to be up early for work. Well, he calls anyway, because he was upset that a cop had yelled at him for helping while the officer was investigating a theft. He goes on a rant about how unappreciative and rude the world is, and he's the only polite person left. I responded that he was lucky he didn't get arrested because interfering with an officer on duty is a crime. He says, I'm just like everyone else. And then he rants some more, and then we somehow got onto the topic of The Simpsons. Sky Police. That's why. I always want to talk about Sky Police.
Sky Police. Chief Clancy Wiggins is the Sky Police.
Flying high above the law, I am Sky Police. I tell him that I stopped watching The Simpsons in the early 2000s and preferred the first 10 seasons. He called me juvenile and hangs up on me. Yes, you must have a more refined taste in your adult cartoon shows. In that moment, I realized I needed to get help for my depression because I had finally hit rock bottom. Dude, that's rock bottom for you? I mean, good, also, happy for you. You got off easy. This dude was absolute trash, just like his house. I didn't wait for him to call back. I dialed his number, and when he picked up, I was about to say we shouldn't be friends anymore, but all I could manage to do is laugh. He called me a bitch and hung up. He followed soon after with an email saying to never contact him again. I don't know what happened to him other than seeing his OkCupid profile a year or two later, saying that he thought his future partner wouldn't be able to speak English, and he was ready to meet her now that his mom was dead. You're like deeply embarrassed of your future partner. That's really sad. It is pathetic. But still, he's a piece of shit. He doesn't want any better for himself. That girl might not be able to speak English, but she knows what a trash pile looks like. She's gonna be like, yeah, give me the green card, I gotta get out of here. And he'll sulk and whine and never look inwardly. Why do women always leave nice guys? Because you're not that nice. You're self-serving and gross, and nobody really wants to be around that. You've chosen yourself over everybody else every time, so why would anybody put the effort in? Truthfully, the story was nice and spicy. I enjoyed the disgustingness quite a lot. The only thing that I wish we had was our good friend Gubbins. I don't know where he's gone and if he'll ever come back.
I never leave you soft, Chief. Big Brain Greg got mighty meat stick but 0 wisdom stat. He hoard junk, bird poo, and porn like end times near. Gubbins say no, this not man, this fossilized neck cheese and anime shirt. Good riddance, soft Chief. Gubbins.
Oh, Gubbins, we're glad to have you back, little buddy, I'll say that much. Yes, mighty meat stick. I'm glad to have you back by my side, my friend. Now I feel rejuvenated to charge on into another double post story. This is Gumbeard and the Pale Cold Maiden. It's a pretty good title, honestly. Evocative. Good afternoon, m'ladies. I work part-time nights in a grocery store in an older, run-down part of my hometown. That means that once all you lovely, decent, normal folks have done your grocery shopping and the sun has sunk below the horizon, the creepers, who hiss at the kiss of daylight, come oozing from their lairs to patronize the aisles of my workplace. Oh, that's me. Okay, so maybe it's really not that sinister, but we do get some crazies. Usually they're pretty harmless, odd, talkative, a few nuts and bolts short of a toolbox, and sometimes smelly, but mostly just harmless. However, one in particular is becoming a nuisance, and I think he might be a recurring character in a story that I don't want to be a part of. The first arrival of Gumbeard was heralded by his horrific body odor. He was obese, unshaven, and wore black everything with holes everywhere. Yeah, you need to stitch those up with safety pins, dude. I noticed him briefly when he parked himself in front of the lottery machine. I was stocking the candy at the check stands and found a pack of gum advertising some kind of sweepstakes in regards to Rogue One, and mentioned it to my coworker, Kurt. We started talking about the nostalgic bits of the film, only to be interrupted by a foul odor and the pack of gum being snatched from my hand.
Don't you know that's a Star Wars collectible?
Galactic Station Atom. Chewbacca chewing gum.
I turned around to see Gumbeard swiftly retreating to another check stand, the gum completely swallowed by his fat hand. Kirk and I looked at each other in surprise. Okay then. I finished stocking the gum and began helping Kirk empty the trash. I was bending down beneath a register when the odor returned, along with the sound of laborious mouth breathing.
He's like...
I stood up to find Gumbeard directly in front of me at the closed check stand with the slightly crumpled pack of gum in his outstretched hand.
Here.
I stared. He retracted his arm an inch and shoved it forward again.
Here.
I picked up the trash and said, "No thanks," and walked away. Gumbeard then tried following me, rumbling,
"No, it's for you. The gum, it's for you."
Oh, that was his pickup thing. He's like fucking Mark the Mint Man, but with gum. I managed to escape him by pretending I couldn't hear him and walking at a normal pace to where he couldn't follow. Kirk, when he stopped laughing, told me that Gumbeard wandered around the front of the store for about 15 minutes before finally giving up and leaving. I thought that was the end of it, honestly, but I should have known better. Gumbeard returned this past weekend. I managed to see him coming, so I made myself busy elsewhere. Shortly thereafter, Miguel and Fernando came running to deliver an epic poem worthy of Kristen Stewart, who, according to this link, wrote the worst poem of all time for Marie Claire. I mean, it's the girl from Twilight. What'd you really expect? I might like to dig into that poem sometime. Anyway, did I mention it was written in horrible, illegible calligraphy, including an illustrated initial? Well, that is just, I'm sad. That's not calligraphy. We call it cursive handwriting, and he does it on the level of a kindergartner. We could not decipher what his initial was supposed to be. We put it to a vote, and naked woman with goat tied with gargoyle wearing human suit. Yeah, it was bad. The poem was, as I said, largely illegible, but the words dragon, wine-drunk, honey-haired, and pale, cold maiden were particularly clear. Dragon showed up at least twice. He seemed to take particular care with that word. Yeah, I mean, it's the time for dragons, isn't it? Who doesn't like a dragon? They're pretty cool. I think this guy likes dragons in a different way, though.
Probably hear this all the time from your food, but you must bleach or something, because that is one dazzling smile you got there. And do I detect a hint of minty freshness?
My coworkers were in fits. We left the horrible thing on the assistant manager's desk, scrolled up with a rose and a ribbon. She never mentioned it, so I'm guessing it got trashed after she saw it. Anyway, if the dude becomes a regular, I might have more stories. What joy is mine. Yeah, what a treat. He really is trying to go all out. A pack of gum? My goodness, good gentle sir, you're far too generous. It's nice to have gum, I guess, but the price for this gum is far too high. Mark the Mint Man was nicer. There was no strings attached as far as I could tell. This gum, thousands of strings. Stay away from the strings. All right, we got another part to it, so let's get to it. Gumbeard courts Milady. You didn't hide from him like the whole time? I guess he'll catch you off guard eventually. Good morrow, fine gentle sirs. About a week ago, I wrote to y'all about Gumbeard. I suspected he might turn up again, and to my chagrin, I was correct. He has appeared 3 times. Once, thankfully, while I was not working. All of my coworkers have now been informed that they are not to give him any information about me whatsoever. Because apparently, the time he came in and I was absent, he cornered someone and asked just a lot of random questions about me. This situation definitely is accelerating quickly, isn't it? The first time he came in, I was there. I made myself absolutely unavailable and unseen by switching with Miguel to work on inventorying a recent delivery. I only came out once and managed to outrun him when Gumbeard spotted me. At last, Miguel came to the back to tell me that Gumbeard was gone and had been wandering the store for a total of 2 hours and 30 minutes, presumably hoping to run into me, consuming bag after bag of Doritos and leaving a massive mess in his wake. Although, yes, he did pay for the Doritos. I guess that's the very least you can do. I think Walter White said it best. How are you even alive?
3 entire bags of Funyuns?
Funyuns are awesome.
I did not see or hear from Gumbeard for a few more days until last night. I was sweeping the store when the overwhelming scent of 14-year-old boys filled the air. Somebody had clearly just emptied an entire can of Axe deodorant. As I walked through the cloud of prepubescence, I realized that it was only thinly masking a very foul odor. Shit! Too late, dude. His ploy worked, kinda. Gumbeard was at the lottery machine when I rounded the corner. I could smell the B.O. axe from several feet away. I tried to leave before he noticed me, but he saw me and literally shouted my name.
Oh, P, I knew you were working. I'm so glad I found you. Did you receive the letter that I wrote you?
My manager, Christy, looked up from her paperwork in annoyance. Sir, please don't shout in the store. Also, did you pay for those chips? Yes, m'ladies, he was elbow deep in another bag of Doritos. I escaped and managed to busy myself elsewhere. I realized he had crop dusted the entire frigging store with Doritos crumbles, dust, and gummy fingerprints. Ugh.
Doritos!
Zach and I started at opposite ends of the store and swept up the mess, each of us returning to the back room with cleaning rags stained orange. That's literally how many nasty handprints there were. He's like licking his fingers and touching everything. How do you even do this? You're a grown adult. What the fuck? Some people bought it. Some people took a biohazard into their house without even realizing it. Here, Timmy, drink this apple juice. A finger-sucking, Dorito-ridden Neckbeard was holding that apple juice moments before, and you don't even know. We have to Lysol all the juice. Zach was pissed, said OP, and told me that he found a smashed jar of cheese dip in one of the aisles with orange fingerprints on it. How'd nobody notice that? Gumbeard apparently saw fit to leave it there without letting us know. Whether he did it on accident or on purpose, Zach spent the better part of 20 minutes picking up glass shards and sopping up goop. Yes, delicious goop it is. When I returned to the front of the store, carrying a huge stack of hand carts to hide behind, Gumbeard was holding a massive flower arrangement, which he proceeded to bow and present it to me with all the awkward grace of a mass of jelly past the sell-by date. I've never wanted the ground to swallow me whole so much in my life. My cheeks are burning from embarrassment just remembering it. I was absolutely humiliated. My coworkers were alternately frozen in shock or dying of laughter. Zach, still mad about the huge mess that we'd cleaned, looked furious. Christy came out of nowhere. She's a short, middle-aged woman with all the guff of a disgruntled bulldog, and she was mad. "You get out the store, motherfucker! You're making a giant mess! It's inappropriate behavior! You stop harassing my employees!" And like a miniature tornado, she herded the astonished Gumbeard out of the store and made shooing motions with her hands. "Get out, motherfucker! You're making a big-ass mess!" Christy rushed to me and asked if I was okay, which I thought was really sweet. She looked at the flowers, which Gumbeard had put on the floor after bowing and trying to hand them to me, and she shook her head. She said, "Hey girl, you can put those in your car." And OP said, "No, thank you. I do not want them." And then she said, "Okay, then we're going to try and sell them again." You gotta respect the hustle. Christy picked up the massive arrangement and put it back on the shelf before dusting off her hands and walking away like nothing had happened. I sincerely hope Christy scared him enough that he won't come back, but I doubt it. A girl can hope, though. TLDR, send help. And then no more posts about Gumbeard. So good. Short and sweet. We got 2 neckbeards wrapped up with a little bow. Why not go for a third? I just really think that's a nice number. So we'll check out the other thing that this OP wrote and complete the whole thing. Achievement unlocked. Here we go. Nature documentary. A gentlefellow makes contact with a fair lady. She says, "Hey folks, I'm Hyde. I usually hang out over at Fat People Stories, but I've recently had a Neckbeard experience that I think y'all would enjoy hearing about. I have an account on meetup.com. And over the years, I've used it pretty heavily to meet new people, get involved in groups and charities, and force my very antisocial self to have proper human interaction." God, that's so relatable. For those of you who don't use Meetup, there are tabs you can highlight that detail things you are interested in. In the event, Meetup groups are created to cater to those interests. However, some of the invites I get are really out there. Exactly what in my list of interests indicates that I would want to be a part of a lonely marriages meetup, I'd like to know. Anyway, I mean, shoot their shot, I guess. Out there fishing around for vulnerable chicks. But I'm sure only so they can make their situation better, of course. Recently I got a notification that a group had been created in my area called something similar to Ye Old English Gentlefellows. It is supposedly a linguistics club for those who enjoy conversing in Anglo-Saxon and other undead languages. Undead because they're dead and someone had to go learn them and start speaking them again. I deleted the notification. Not a linguist, not interested. Plus, it really just sounds kind of neckbeardy. Yeah, ye old English gentlefellows get a bad rap. It's an unfortunate correlation. 2 days later, a message shows up in my inbox from who I determined to be a moderator of the aforementioned group. All of the following words are verbatim. I just edited them for grammar and spelling. Ye old English gentlefellows mod. Good morrow, fine lady. I've been searching through profiles for like-minded individuals to join a group of linguistic and esoteric lads and ladies to engage in fine conversation and a meeting of great minds. Your profile has intrigued and excited me. Would you do the honor of joining me at the first meeting of the Brilliance? I eagerly await your reply.
Yes!
OP says, Jesus Christ, what a collection of 6-point Scrabble words. A meeting of the Brilliance? No. OP says, I've seen your group description, and I'm not interested in joining. Thanks for reaching out. The mod replies instantaneously, Fair one! I must implore you that your presence in our little group would only bring light and joy to the darkness that is this sinister world. This is so over the top, you realize that. Besides which, it must be a great asset to have a brilliant female mind in our midst. Yeah, I can still hear the female even through the accent. I looked at my profile. There is literally nothing about me there that would indicate anything brilliant about me aside from a very generic list of interests. I spot poetry and intellectual discussion at the bottom of the list and figure that must be what he's referring to. Yeah, as if he was referring to anything at all. Like I said, just fishing. OP says hi again, but no thanks, not interested. Ye old English gentleman's mod, I would not have guessed from your pictures that you were so closed-minded. What horrible events in your past have crushed your self-esteem so that you cannot see how intellectually powerful you are? Would you not rather be a superb meteor, every atom in a magnificent glow, rather than a sleepy and permanent planet? Yeah, if I just talk about rocks in space, that'll impress her. I ignored this last one for a couple of days, and he sent a string of "Fair lady," and "I do hope you've seen my messages. I am anxious to have you join," type of messages. And after the fourth or fifth "Hello again," I responded, OP, look, kid, I said I wasn't interested. I don't know or speak Anglo-Saxon, and you're being a major creep. Also, were you planning on giving Jack London credit for that last bit, or were you hoping to pass off the prose as your own? He says, "Aha, I knew it, a literary mind, a woman who reads. Tell me, have you delved into Camus and Asimov? It's so refreshing to meet a mind that matches my own. Damn the group! Shall we meet today for the disgusting societally accepted libation known as coffee, and chat as adults oft do? I see you are in a nearby city that is not where I live, though it's close." OP says, holy shit.
I know where you live.
Yeah, he's been doing some digging. OPSEC online, ladies and gentlemen. OP says, look, I'm not interested at all with you or your group, and I'm not interested in speaking to you about Camus, Asimov, or Dr. fucking Seuss. You're creepy and pushy and frankly alarming, so do not contact me again. 2 days later, have we forgotten our tantrum? You were very unkind when last we spoke. I think you owe me an apology. And that coffee date, winky face. Blocked and reported. Seriously, guys, what the hell? What the hell indeed, OP? That's about all I can come up with, right? It's really a fascinating story. I know it didn't turn weird aside from the way that he talks and stuff like that, but you know which direction it was headed. He's just a little too pushy about it, and I don't know, suggesting we meet up immediately. Don't go down that road. And OP, of course, far too smart to fall into that trap. What you're looking for is a dumb girl that thinks she's smart. Ah, shit, I'm not supposed to be giving tips out here. I'm sorry. Gubbins, distract us. What do you think? Are you talking to me now?
Oh, ho, ho, gentlefellow, speak with many fancy word. Think it summon love like necromancy spell, but no work. Fair lady no want meeting of brilliance, she want peaceful scroll in silence. Get back in goblin cave, roasty bard no join thee, Gubbins.
Is OP the roasty bard? Whoa, Gubbins, put the brakes on for a second, buddy. He's got a lot of pent-up rage, I think. Tomorrow night we're going to watch Osmosis Jones in the Discord to appease him at least a little bit. If you're not in the Discord yet, discord.gg/ReddX. It'll be after the premiere. Minimal conversation, mostly just watching Osmosis Jones, paying witness to the greatness of the Farrelly brothers. Anyway, yeah, cool episode. Kind of weird. I hope you guys sign up on Patreon and YouTube memberships if you enjoyed. Check out the Fourth Wall for some merch. I appreciate you. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it. And I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.